is the third video in the series that shows how one can modify a Barbie doll to resemble the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. In the previous two videos, I selected a Barbie doll to modify based on her skin color, and I gave her a new hairstyle. This video will focus on the clothes. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl has worn different costumes over the years, but I'm going to focus on making her most recent outfit. The first thing I did was to find patterns that could replicate her outfit in doll form, which I'll get into soon. As for fabric, it can be obtained in your favorite fabric shop, such as Joann's Fabrics and Crafts, where I shot some of this footage. Since Barbie stands close to 12 inches, you don't need a lot of fabric. I found some of the fabric for her outfit at the remnant table, where one can easily find something appropriate at a cheap price, especially if the store is running a sale at the time you're shopping. You can also check out the fabric quarters, which are made from cotton and are generally used for quilting and small sewing projects. They also tend to frequently go on sale. Felt is another cheap option for doll clothes. First, I'm going to focus on her tights. As you can see, they tend to be a gray color, so I used gray colored fabric. I found a free tights pattern from the Perestroika Designs website that I downloaded, then printed out. The free pattern also has easy to follow instructions. If you've ever sewn pants before, then making these tights will be easy. If you have no experience in this, I suggest doing a Google search for the many free tutorials on how to sew your own pants. The tights also require elastic, so if you've never sewn elastic before, I suggest doing a Google search for free tutorials on this as well. I strongly recommend using your doll as a mannequin while sewing the tights so it'll accurately fit her. I found that I didn't need to do any modifications to the pattern, and it fits my doll perfectly. Now it's time to work on the rest of her outfit, starting with the light brown leotard that she usually wears over the tights. I found a free leotard pattern on the mycindy.com site that was made for a fashion doll known as Cindy, who was originally released in the United Kingdom as the British answer to the Barbie doll here in the United States. Except when I visited London back in 2006, I visited Hamley's toy store on Regent Street, and the only fashion dolls I saw on sale were Barbies, but I digress. The leotard pattern is free to print and use, and there are instructions posted on that site as well. Cindy is supposed to be the same size as Barbie, and I'm only going by what I read online because I've never owned a Cindy doll, nor have I ever seen one on sale here in the US. I found the pattern to be very large on my Barbie, and it might be the same for you depending on what doll you're using. I recommend laying your Barbie down on the pattern and tracing around her torso while leaving at least a ½ inch extra space all around her torso, then cutting the pattern even smaller before you start pinning it to the fabric, then cutting the fabric. As with the tights, I would recommend periodically trying the outfit on your doll to see if it fits while you're sewing it. Now for the finishing touches on the leotards. If you look at the details of some of the drawings, you'd see that her leotard looks like it's trimmed with light brown fur at the leg openings and neckline. Although not all drawings of her has those details, I decided to go with the trim because it makes a nice touch. Since Barbie is a small doll, trying to cut fur trims for her leotards just wasn't feasible. Instead, I took some light brown felt, cut small strips, and sew those strips on the edges. The felt surface gives it a sort of a fur effect, even though the felt I use isn't furry at all. I added a pair of snaps to the back. You could also opt to use Velcro. Now that I finished the leotard, it's time to make the belt. If you look at the drawings, you see that she usually wears a yellow utility belt with 2 attached pouches. I didn't use a pattern for the belt. What I did was to take a tape measure and measure it around the doll's waist. I cut a long felt rectangle that's slightly longer than Barbie's waist size, which is important because there will be some overlap of the belt in the back. Once you cut it out, wrap the yellow felt rectangle around Barbie's waist. Using a pen or pencil, make either a dot or an X on opposite sides of her waist. Cut 2 smaller rectangles, wrap them around the areas where you have major marks, and glue them using E6000 craft glue or something similar. Now you have the pouches for the utility belt. Sew either a snap or Velcro on the ends of the belt, then fasten the belt in the back. Now you have a utility belt. It's time to make her jacket. As you can see, Squirrel Girl usually wears a short brown jacket. I had a hard time finding an appropriate pattern that would fit Barbie until I came across McCall's pattern number 8552. You can generally find this pattern at your favorite fabric shop, but if you don't live near one, I've put the URL to McCall's website below. This Barbie coat comes the closest to Squirrel Girl's jacket. I will have to make alterations by not sewing the skirt that's attached to the coat and making the sleeves a bit shorter. Otherwise, I think this pattern, known as Pattern G, will work just fine. Follow the instructions included in the pattern on how to make the coat until you get to the sleeves. Cut the sleeves around the elbows before you add the cuffs. Also, skip sewing the bottom skirt. You just want the top part, which is the perfect length for the jacket. You may also want to periodically try the jacket on your doll while you're sewing it, so you can make any necessary alterations. I now have completed about 80% of the work needed to convert Barbie into the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. My next video will go into making her boots and other embellishments. Subscribe to this channel so you won't miss it. Bye for now and have fun creating.